Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of the MUSpartans.com Spartan Show for the week of Tuesday, September the 6th, 2016. On today's show, we sit down with assistant football coach Brad Higginson and senior linebacker Nathan Birk to discuss week 1 football action against Trine University. We sit down with women's soccer coach Adrian Johnson as she discusses early season practices and last week's openers against St. Mary's. Sophomore basketball player Adrian Johnson joins us to talk about his summer basketball trip to Brazil, and women's golf coach Tara Boone and golfer Haleigh Fernandez discuss a historic weekend for the program. Stay tuned. First up on today's show, we get our weekly football update from assistant football coach Brad Higginson and senior linebacker Nathan Birk. Gentlemen, let's take a look back at Thursday night's game against Trine University. What are your initial thoughts on the game, and what positives can you take from the performance? Coach Higginson, we'll start with you.
Yeah, one of the big things that we had, obviously we played 3 very strong quarters to start the game, and had a very close battle with them up until that point. And the biggest thing was the energy and the effort, enthusiasm from the players to coaches to the fans. Just everybody was into the game, and that was a big part of it. We executed a lot of things very well at times and controlled the tempo of the game, and that was exciting to see.
Nathan, you got anything to add?
Yeah, like Coach Higgy said, we brought the energy. It was awesome playing in front of all the fans. It was a great support group we had out there. I think our defense played very well as an entire unit. I think the D-line especially played really well. It seemed like at times they're playing in their backfield every single play. So when those guys played that well, I think it makes our jobs easy.
Yeah, definitely. So Nathan, a specific question for you now. Being a senior on this team, how has your role changed compared to prior years, and what's it like being a leader on that defensive unit?
It's a lot different. When you're a freshman, sophomore, you look up to those guys that are seniors that are giving their all in every single play. So I think it's cool to see as the years have passed that instead of looking at someone, I'm the one getting looked at. So as well as all the other seniors, it's pretty cool. You got to be the leader out there. You got to be the vocal leader, and you have to also show by effort too.
Right.
So,
and you did a great job of that on Thursday night. Now, Coach Higginson, looking ahead to this weekend, you have another night game against Alma College. It's the second one for you guys this season. What are the focuses for practice this week, and what are we going to be expecting from Alma College this weekend?
Yeah, practice this week really just comes down to execution. We got to execute the game plan. We got to lock in mentally, eliminate some mental mistakes and things like that. Make sure everybody's on the same page, and just execute overall. Looking at Alma offensively, they returned quite a few guys that are pretty high impact players for them. They got 2 very quick receivers out there that can do a lot of things to stretch the field, and if they get the ball in their hands, they're special. They got a returning running back that does pretty well carrying the ball and is physical. He's a guy that will have to stop the running game and force him to throw the ball around a little bit. Quarterback's very experienced, and when he has opportunity to make the throw, he does. And that's something that we'll have to slow him up. Can't let him get outside the pocket. He's kind of an elusive, thicker kid, and we'll have to tackle well to stop these guys. But they're very similar to our offense in a lot of ways, and I think we'll match up pretty well with them. It's exciting to see. That friendly rivalry that we have now with Coach Jensen, but it's going to be exciting to see how everything shapes up on Saturday night.
Definitely going to be a great game. Next game for the Spartans is Saturday at 6 p.m. against Alma College. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen.
Yep, thank you.
Next on the show, we have new head women's soccer coach Adrian Johnson. Coach, first of all, we'd like to thank you for joining our Manchester University family, and congratulations on becoming head coach.
Thank you.
First, can you tell the viewers at home a little bit about yourself and your background in soccer?
Sure. I'm originally from California, and I played at University of Florida and played with the FC Gold Pride in Northern California, which was the pro team.
Very cool.
And then I coached at Fresno State and Arizona State.
Nice. And 2 very difficult tests this past weekend with St. Mary's and Kalamazoo. What were your impressions of those matches, and what takeaways do you have from your first competitors this season?
Well, I think my hats go off to St. Mary's and Kalamazoo. I mean, they definitely were deserving of the win. My takeaway is that we got a lot to work on, and there were some positive things and some things that we need to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. You have your first home match coming up on Saturday against Wilmington of Ohio. What excites you most about having your first game at Goodfield?
I'm excited to see what the crowd's like. I saw the men's game and they had a big following, and so I'm hopeful that we have the same following as well.
Yeah. The Lady Spartans' next game is Wednesday, September 7th at Heidelberg University, and their first home match is Saturday, September 10th at 1 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Our next guest on the show today is sophomore men's basketball player Adrian Johnson. Adrian, you were selected to the NCAA Division III men's basketball all-star team, and you got the chance to play in Brazil this summer. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means to you to be selected to the team?
To me, that means that my freshman season was a success for me. I was only freshman on the USA team, so it means that I stood out in the country.
Yeah, that's awesome. We understand you got to tour several different locations and aspects of Brazilian life. Can you tell us what some of the highlights of that trip were for you, and what were your favorite places to visit?
Some of the highlights for me were going to the Christ Redeemer statue, and also going to the Sugarloaf Mountains. It was really nice up there.
Yeah?
It was kind of cloudy that day, but we took a lot of nice pictures.
Yeah, was the food different for you?
Yeah. They had a lot of pizza.
That's good. To wrap up, can you tell us a little bit about the events you played in and how the team fared in competition?
We played 4 games against professional teams. We played one game that was a charity game in like the roughest part of like Brazil. That was real nice. We won 2 games out of the 4. I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, good. Well, congratulations on the opportunity. Thanks for joining us
Thank
tonight.
you.
Now we're going to take a look back at some athletic highlights from the past weekend, and we're going to start with the 2016 home football opener at Carl W. Burke Memorial Field on Thursday against Trine University.
Line. Starts at 28-yard line.
It's literally, you can see the scoreboard clearly. Wow, that's a good freaking catch. Why don't it starts raining?
Next up on today's show, we have a live field report from Thursday night's cross-country Hokum Karam race with Mark Adkins, who's standing by with freshman runner Hannah Wappus.
What have you noticed have been the biggest differences about high school to college cross country?
The support from my teammates. We're all here to get something done together. So it's really awesome to have that passion.
How did the race feel today for you?
Good. We ran as a pack, so again, we're pushing each other to be better, so it was awesome.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Our final athletics highlights feature comes from the soccer pitch as we look back at the men's soccer team's 2-0 start to the season after beating McMurray College 7-2 and Concordia University of Chicago 2-0 this past weekend.
It is sent over into Manchester, or about the midfield line, as a 50-50 ball is won by Nate Johnson. Oladapo receives it on the left side. He's going to dribble around now, finds Teddy Quarcy in the middle, and he sends it to Niederhelm for Manchester. Todd Orm has it at midfield, and he's going to cross it over to Singer in the middle of the field. Singer's going to dribble it up now, and he takes a shot, and that's going
to announce the first MUSpartans.com Spartan Show MVP of the week for the year 2016-2017. This week we recognize Coach Tara Boone and the women's golf team after a historic start to their campaign. The women's team carded a final round at 332, the third best team round in school history, en route to winning their first team title since 2010. The Spartans were led by junior transfer Katie Smith, who was the Spartans' first medalist since 2010-2011, and sophomore Haleigh Fernandez, who carded a final round of 78, the program's 6th best score all time. Congratulations, ladies. And our final guest on this week's show is representing our MVP of the week with women's golf coach Tara Boone and player Haleigh Fernandez. Coach Boone, a big weekend for your team and just your first outing of the season. What were your initial thoughts on your performance this past weekend at Anderson?
I wasn't surprised at all. I knew, 3 returners and then 1 transfer. We have a very small team, but I knew that's exactly where we should be, and that's what we should be doing every weekend. So no surprise. I know other teams were surprised. But it didn't surprise me at all. So.
So Haleigh, now to you. You recorded a 78 on day 2. That's actually a 9-stroke improvement from day 1 to day 2, and it's actually one of the better ones in school history. So can you tell us a little bit of what made the difference between day 1 and day 2 for you?
You know, I think I was more focused on day 2. Day 1, I was a little more nervous, but my nerves were all out after that, and I just wanted to win.
Coach Boone, moving forward, what do you continue to work on this upcoming week in practice, and how do you maintain your focus after doing so well in week 1?
We haven't changed anything. Today was the same thing. You think, well, they won, they'll have the day off. No, it's the same thing. They did the same thing. They worked out at 6:30 this morning. They went to practice. The golf course was surprised to see us there, but we're doing the same thing.
Right.
We're not going to change anything just because we won, or it doesn't change our focus for future weeks. So obviously, what we've been doing is working. So we're not going to change or relax at any moment right now.
Haleigh, with this strong first weekend performance for you guys, what were some individual milestones possibly for you as you move forward, and also for the team that you and the team have set for this rest of the season?
Well, I definitely want to keep it going, keep the scores low, and keep winning, basically. Stay focused.
Well, we thank you for joining us, and a big congratulations to you on the big win in Anderson this weekend.
Thank you.
That's all we have for this week's edition of the Spartan Show. Make sure to stay up to date with all Manchester University athletics, stats, scores, and news by visiting muspartans.com. Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to tune in next week for another edition of the Spartan Show.